It's so wonderful to be here and to be moving with you. We're going to start on our backs, and you'll want a bunch of your props nearby, blocks, towels, strap, whatever you're using, because we're going to use our props in a unique way. So come on to your back, and then from your back, you're going to start, and if you don't have two blocks, whatever you've been using for blocks, pillows, whatnot, but at least you want to do a couple different heights. So if you have two blocks, you're going to start with your blocks on the second highest height. There's the lowest height, the second highest height, the highest height. So on the second highest height, and you're going to line them somewhere underneath your knees or your thighs or your lower legs to let your thighs drop open. And then just take a few breaths here. Start to tune into your body. Let your spine relax on the mat. So we're going to work different ranges of motion today. And you don't always feel a ton of sensation when you go into the lesser ranges of motion. But if you go to them more often, you will feel more sensation in them. It's very important to work a wide variety of range of motion. In other words, most of the time when most people come to this, they just let their thighs drop open to the floor. And some of us, our thighs drop open with ease, and some of us, our legs are stuck up with some tension. But bolstering yourself is both good for those who are stuck with some tension in that area and those who can easily fall open, because that doesn't necessarily mean that the muscles aren't tense. It just means that your connective tissues move with ease. So working at different ranges of motion is very important for the body. All right, from here, let's interlace our fingers with your right pinky finger on the bottom. Press away. Gently spread your thumbs away from each other and back towards you. Tuck your chin down to your chest and slowly roll your head to your right. And slowly, with your chin tucking down, roll your head over to the left. And then bring your head back to center. And from there, circle your thumbs nice and slowly, a couple times in one direction. Pause and draw a big but gentle circle a couple times in the other direction. And then try to keep that nice even interlace with your thumbs spreading out as you slowly take your arms overhead. If your fingers start to pull apart or your thumbs start to come in, that means that you've hit a point of tension and you want to stay there. So even if that point of tension is here or a little bit overhead, remember, end range of motion does not translate to, oh, I'm healthier because I can get my body into end range of motion. What makes your body healthier is looking for points of tension and then staying there. And someone might have more tension here than they do here. So kind of look for where your fingers come apart or just very slightly start to pull apart and hold there and breathe. And then slowly bring your hands back up. Okay, we're gonna take our thighs to a different height. So if this is very comfortable for you, you could always go even a little bit higher, or you can take your blocks or whatever you're using on a lower height and let your thighs open a little bit more. Let's start with our left pinky finger on the back. Flip your hands inside out towards the ceiling. Stay for a moment, breathe, relax around your thighs, relax around your hips. Chin tucks down to your chest. Slowly turn your head to the left. And then go back to the right. Come back to center and circle your thumbs a couple times in each direction. Go slow. Really feel the thumbs and the padding of the thumb. And then keeping that nice even interlace and the thumb spread, slowly take your arms overhead. Any amount. Pause anywhere that you found some tension. Stay there for a moment. Feel into it. Breathing. And then slowly bring your arms back up and release your fingers and lift your knees up. And then from there, we're going to take our knees hip distance apart. You're going to wrap your strap around the back of your right thigh. And we're going to cross our left ankle over, but we're going to do slightly different ranges of motion. So when you first cross, you're just going to cross the very edge of your foot, just the edge of your foot right on your knee, and then come to the heel of your right foot. And we're trying to do all these lifts without flattening our waist. So this would be flattening the waist. The weight flattened, the tailbone lifts up. Very different than keeping the tailbone grounded and just lifting from the thigh bones, where the waist can keep its natural lift off the floor. So a little lift and tap down. Stay centered on your spine. Lift and tap, lift and tap, lift and tap. Then slide your ankle over so you're more at the center of your ankle, just right above that outer ankle bone and outer and inner ankle bone. And from here, we'll lift and tap, keeping the motion happening at the thigh, which is at the hip. If the hips lift up off the floor, that's the motion happening at the spine. All right, then slide that foot over until you're crossed above your ankle. So you're starting to be on your lower leg. And micro movement here, breathing. All right, let's switch sides. Uncross, wrap the strap around the back of your left thigh, cross just the edge of your right foot on your knee, just the edge of the foot with a flexed ankle. Come up onto the heel of your left foot. That will also work with a flexed ankle. And then think of keeping the waist in neutral, the pelvis flat so the buttocks doesn't roll up, and just moving from the thigh bones as you lift and lower. And if you can, pause for a moment when you lift your foot up. All right, slide over so you're just above those ankle bones. Ribs relax down and back. And then slide over so you're above your ankle on your lower leg. And we'll lift and lower here, working to keep your spine centered and breathing. Okay, so for what we're doing next, we are again going to use a block. You can vary your height at least once. We're going to do it twice if you have the props, if you have the props you need. But I'm going to roll up for just a moment, and you might want to too. And then we're going to use the block at the second highest height and the highest height. We'll start at the second highest height, and you're going to figure out where you can put your ankle or your heel on the block and lay back so you have two straight legs. While you're here, reach your arms into the air, keep trying to relax your thigh bone, turn your palms to face behind you, touch your pinky fingers, and then open your thumbs to the floor. And keep in mind that you don't have to go the same height every time. You can go in line with your lower chest, you can open up in line with your mid chest, and you can open in line with your upper chest too. So feel free to slightly vary the range of motion here as you open and close your arms. But so for many people, this might not feel like a hamstring stretch, but this is just based on the position of the bones. If your pelvis is in neutral, your tailbone's tilting down, this is a hamstring stretch. As soon as your heel lifts the floor, you are tugging on that musculature. And over time, the longer you stay and learn to relax your thigh, you will feel more sensation in this range of motion. We want to feel that in all of our range of motion. We want to create a stronger connection between the muscles and the nerves. All right, from here, you have two options. One is you can try to flip the block with your feet if you like that. I'm not going to try that today. The second option is just to take your foot up, roll up again, and then move the block onto the highest height and put your same right heel or ankle up there and lay back down with two straight legs. Now you turn your palms to face behind you, open your thumbs till they're hovering over the floor. If it's uncomfortable in your shoulder to work in this rotation, work with your palms flat towards the ceiling. Otherwise, thumbs rotate down, and just gently sweeping your arms down, up, and just low chest height up and down a little bit, like you're drawing a snow angel. Reach out through the upper arms, feel the chest and the upper back spread open. Relax that thigh as much as you can. If you are someone who carries excessive tension in your legs, for instance, when you do the strap stretch around your foot, which we're going to do in a moment, or lift your legs into the air, there's no way your knee is going to straighten. There's no way your leg relaxes at all. This is for you too. You want to do this more often. Find the height, find your boundary. How high can you get your leg without bending your knee, without, really clenching the muscles, and start there. Start just even, stack up what's high enough that you find the end range of motion. And for some people, it's as soon as the foot leaves the floor, the knee will already want to bend. So you're finding the range of motion where your leg can stay straight. And if you work from that height, you'll get a lot of improvement in the musculature over time. Okay, grab your strap or whatever you use for your strap, and now you're going to bend your right knee in for a moment and wrap the strap around the ball of your foot below your toes. And then as long as your strap is long enough, you might have to be a little bit higher, but you're going to hover just above the block. So trying to straighten the leg as much as possible, relax the muscles around the thigh, the arms and the hands are working. And breathing. Notice your ankle, does it twist one way or the other? A lot of people have to push forward for their inner arch to untwist the ankle. And then lift that foot a little bit higher. So it's very common that we go into these end range of motion where we lift our leg as high as we can. And not that that's not a great thing to do. You want to be strong in end range of motion as well as mobile. But the reality is how often do you use your legs split apart that far? First, you want to make sure that your muscles are really functioning well in these other ranges of motion. And you don't want to stop practicing these other ranges of motion. Lift the leg a little bit higher. Relax around the thigh muscles. All right, we are going to switch feet. So you're going to release the strap. Again, you can try to slide that block over, tip it on the other side if you want to do a little feet play. I just don't know how long that will take me today, so feel free to do that for yourself. Start on the second highest height, put the heel of your foot up. It might take a couple tries to get where your legs can be really straight. One way to know your pelvis is in neutral is the back of the right thigh will be touching down. Turn your palms to face behind you, pinky fingers in, thumbs point out to the side, and open your hands to the floor, your thumbs to the floor, and bring your pinky fingers back together. And remember, slightly varying the height, a little higher and a little lower with your thumbs is great. All right, change the block. So either rock yourself up and flip it to the second height or work with your feet. Take your time laying back down. Relax your spine. Let your tailbone tilt down. Relax that thigh that's on the block. Flip your palms to face behind you. Open your thumbs pointing towards the floor, hovering over the floor or back of the hands. And slowly sweep your arms up and down. Feel your upper back and chest open. Why do we go into this rotation? This rotation for many people is the most underused rotation in the shoulder joint. The opposite of this rotation is what we use a lot. And when we excessively use internal rotation, we put more strain. Over time, it can lead to rotator cuff issues, excessive shoulder tension, impingement issues. A lot of that has to do with the chest because we spend so much time with our arms in front of us. So just getting your arms out to the side more often and moving your arms like this is a great practice. If you're all about prevention like I am, right now I don't have any issues in my body that I'm dealing with. Knock on wood, things can come and go. But for me, all of this is all about really figuring out the way to help my body work optimally over time and break modern habit patterns. Ooh, I just got some big cracking in my shoulder, so I'd want to go a little slower through that area. All right, grab your strap, wrap it around the ball of your foot, below your toes. Watch the ankle. Does it tend to drop in? Push the inner arch away from you. If it does, lower the foot down so it hovers over the block. And my strap is a little short, so I might not be quite as low, but if you can hover right over the block, you should work that range of motion. Sometimes I'll practice with a longer strap. This is just what I had near me today. This is my favorite one. Relax the thigh all the way, breathing. Hip, knee, and ankle in line. And then lift a little higher. Feeling around your thigh. Feeling from your foot to your hip. And lift a little higher without the pelvis tucking under, without the knee bending. And just as a reminder, if you come into these poses and you're like, there's no way my knee keeps a soft bend or a large bend all the time, then you want to work lower more often. A lot of this work sometimes feels like you're doing less, but when you start to see the results in your body and how much better you move over time all day long, you'll see that you're doing a lot more for your body. All right, from there, release the strap, and we're gonna roll to one side or rock up again, and you're gonna come onto your belly, and we're gonna do the same kind of practice with our quadriceps, the front of our thighs. So slight ranges of motion. If you have a lot of knee issues, this is a good one to do more often. You could even put something under your foot for support. Again, I'm not dealing with issues, but I like to do this stuff just for longevity, just to see how well I'm feeling my body. So your pubic bone tilts to the floor and stays flat. And then a lot of times when we're on our stomachs, we tuck our toes and we let our knee lift up off the floor. I want your knee and your thigh to stay down, and you're just gonna barely lift your right foot up off the floor. Just barely up. Your thigh and your knee stay grounded the whole time. And my head's lifted for speaking purposes, but I recommend that you lay yourself down. It'll put your ribs into a better alignment as well, especially for this stretch. And then lift your foot a little bit higher, keeping your pubic bone grounded, keeping the front of your thigh down. And even just after doing this over the last week, I've been doing this movement, I can already feel more sensation in my thigh as I do these stretches. Because again, as soon as your foot leaves the floor, you're pulling on your quadricep muscles. We're just so used to going as far as we can. All right, lift the foot a little bit higher. Try not to let the thigh bone, the pelvis, the knee come up at all. You can flex the ankle. That will pull a little bit more on that area. How about lifting a little higher to about 90 degrees right over your knee? Pubic bone tilts down to the floor. That's the time when the pelvis will want to start lifting up. So you've got to keep your own pubic bone grounded. How about bring it in a little closer? A little bit more active engagement, because instead of just holding the leg, you're actively pulling it in. And then how about slowly seeing how far you can bring that foot in, keeping your ankle flexed, your pubic bone down, and your knee grounded to the floor. Quite different doing something actively than using a strap. All right, let's switch feet. So barely lift your left foot up off the floor, knee stays grounded, pubic bone tilts to the floor. Breathing. And lift a little bit higher. Recognize what you feel and what you don't feel. Two things happening here. I mean, a lot of things happening, but one is the front of the thigh is lengthening. Two is the back of the leg is slightly engaging. So you might feel one, you might feel both. Lift a little higher. Keep the pubic bone grounded. The higher you get, the more chance it's going to come up, the more chance the knee is going to want to slightly come up off the floor. Maybe flex the ankle. Lift to about 90 degrees. Now you have to probably actively and gently push your pubic bone, tilt your pelvis so your pubic bone stays down, the bottom front of your pelvis. How about bringing the leg in a little bit more? How about seeing how far it can come in without the knee lifting up, without the pubic bone coming up? An active quadricep stretch. All right, slowly release that down. All right, put your hands next to your chest, press yourself up, come onto your knees, hip distance apart, elbows down a little bit wider than your knees. You're gonna reach your right hand behind your left elbow. We're gonna do 3 rotations. So palm face down first. Palm faces the floor. Hopefully you can see my hand, but it's palm face down. And then you can rest your head on your forearm, which is what I recommend. Check if your feet always tend to go in towards each other. That's showing some tension pattern in the legs. So if you notice that habit, keep trying to open your feet to hip distance apart or as wide as your knees are at any time. Rotate your upper arm bone so you're on the pinky finger side of your hand and your thumb is up in the air. And then rotate so the back of your hand is on the floor. Maybe all 5 fingernails touch down to the floor. And then slide that arm out, put your elbow under your shoulder, start with palm face down as you reach the other arm through. And just feeling your body. I just felt like just a huge moment of gratitude to be moving in all different ways, to be feeling the body, to be knowing that if I pay attention to how I move, I'm helping my body not only the muscular skeletal level, but all the way to the cellular level. Rotate so that the pinky finger is down and your thumb is up in the air. Relaxing your lower belly, checking your feet. So maybe your ankles stay open hip distance, but do your feet always roll to one side or the other? Can you center the top of the feet a little bit more? And then how about rotating to the back of your hand? And just to do something different, just to break up the habit pattern. All right, come up onto all fours. Spread your thumbs out towards each other. Your hands a little wider than your knees, hands back behind the shoulders or even the chest. You're going to let your belly really, really relax. Your tailbone lifts up into the air, and then find the top of the rhomboid push-up. Lift your breastbone up, lift your rib cage up a little bit without your pelvis tucking under. And now we're just going to rotate. Elbows go out to the side and wrap your upper arm bones until your elbow pits are pointing forward towards your fingers. And as we go through some movements today, especially when we lift one arm up, we want to pay attention to what the other elbow pit is doing. So we want to keep our elbow pits wrapping forward. Let's say that when you go to one arm, your one elbow pit can no longer stay wrapping forward, then you would want to practice a lot more movements on 2 arms before you do a lot of stuff on 1 arm. And so take your time. And then from here, next time your elbow pits wrap forward, tuck your toes under and then sit back towards your heels any amount. Try to find the center of the balls of your feet. Flip your palms to face away from you. Touch all 8 fingertips or as many as you can down to the floor and pull back. Just the fingertips, not the fingers. And then pull back, gently spread your thumbs away from each other. Okay, let's come back onto all fours. So we're keeping belly relaxed, ribs up, elbow pits wrap forward. Now, you want to, when you lift your hand up off the floor, there's 2 ways to do it. There's to bend your elbow, there's to lift from your shoulder, and then there's this is 3 ways actually. There's to actually lift from your rib cage, like feel your whole rib cage lift up. And that rib cage lifting up is gonna turn on more of your core muscles. So keep your right elbow pit wrapping forward as you lift your left arm and lift through the rib cage, lower down. Now switch. Keep your left elbow pit wrapping forward as you lift through the right side of your rib cage and lower down. Now keep both elbow pits wrapping forward and lift through the right side of your pelvis to lift the knee straight up off the floor, and then lower down, and then lift through the left side of your pelvis. Feel your lower belly lift up a little bit as you lift your knee straight up off the floor and lower down. Come back down to your forearms, reach your right hand, palm face down, over and in front of your left hand. Arm is straight. If you tend to thrust your ribs, a little lift of your ribs as long as your tailbone is still high in the air. Breathing. Rotate that pinky finger so it's touching down and your thumb points up. Tuning into the breath. And then often the tightest, because it's the least used rotation, how about slowly trying to rotate your arm bone so your palm faces up and it's like you're turning your thumb towards the floor. And then slide that hand back. Reach your left hand over in front of your right hand, palm face down. Little lift of the ribs, breathing. Check the feet, check the ankles. Rotate that so your thumb is up, your pinky fingers down. Check your rib cage, breathing. Rotate so the back of your hand is on the floor, rotating your thumb towards the floor. And breathing here, feeling from your finger to your elbow to your shoulder to your waist. All right, and then slide that hand out. Okay, stand up on your knees and then extend your right leg straight out to the right. And from here, you could definitely have a block. So if you reach down to the floor and you feel like you're really leaning over, put a block underneath your left hand. You want your hand, your knee, and your foot in line. Every time we come into this position, you're lining up everything in one line, pubic bone forward, especially if you get pinching in the hip. Watch that you're not sticking your pubic bone back. Your pelvis is neutral. Now you've got the most trickiest part of this is wrapping that elbow pit towards your fingers, and you might have to put a little tiny bend in your elbow to be able to get the motion in your upper arm. You don't want to be pointing your elbow in front of your wrist. That means you're not using much muscle at all. So back up and wrap that elbow pit, wrap that arm bone, and then from here, let's reach our top arm into the air and go overhead and up, and overhead and up, overhead and up, and overhead and up. And then your hand can stay in the air. You can bring it to your hip. Keep checking that bottom elbow pit. Flex your ankle, lift and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. And lift and tap. And then pull yourself up. Bring that knee in. Extend your opposite leg out. Again, you can use a block under your right hand. Put your hand down, hand, knee, and ankle in line. Wrap that elbow pit. It's a little bit harder for me on this side, so I'm going to pay even more attention to it. And then arm goes into the air, pubic bone forward, and reach over and up. Reach over and up. Breathing. Reach over and up. Reach over and up. Hand stays in the air or hand to your hip. Keep wrapping that elbow pit. Flex your ankle. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Reach out through the inner and outer thigh. Lift and tap and lift and tap. And then pull your torso up. Bring the knee in. Grab a block or whatever you use as a block. You can vary the height with a pillow, even a rolled up towel. Step your right foot forward. You can even skip the block entirely and just do different widths of your arms. Pubic bone right under ASI's bones. Go forward only so much that you keep your pelvis in neutral. Put the block on the widest width, this widest width between your forearms. Lift up and then ribs relax down as you lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Switch the block to the second widest width, vertical, second widest width. It took me the other day, just like I had a brain blank and I couldn't figure out which was thickest, thinnest, middle. So if that's happening to you, don't worry. It still happens to me after all these years. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Now turn the block to the thinnest width, still vertical, but it turns in. If the thinnest width, it feels too thin for your shoulders or your arms don't come together, stay with one wider. Elbows bent, ribs relaxed down and back, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. And feel free to switch legs. We were on that lunge for a while, so if you decide you want to pad the knee on the second side, feel free to do that. Outer edge of the foot straight, ankles hip distance apart, sometimes tuck under, sometimes top of the foot. Either way, your foot's a little bit active. And we go back to the widest width. Forearms, so palms face up, bent elbows. Most important part, ribs down and back. Breathing. All right, change the block to vertical, second widest width. And eventually it'll be easier to hold on to it between your forearms. It just comes with time, your body being used to doing the movement. And then turn the block to the widest width, or the narrowest width, sorry. And arm bones squeeze. Breathing. Small motion. All right, you can put that block down, tuck your back toes under, trying to keep your feet hip distance apart, trying to over time use less hands, lean forward less, but if you're still using your hands and leaning forward, that's okay. First step is trying not to scoot your foot back because you're trying to use more of your buttocks and the back of your leg. You scoot your foot back, it puts a lot of pressure in the knee, so try to walk your foot forward, lean forward, push up, or over time, spine upright, just using the legs to push up. All right, with our feet straight and our ankles hip distance apart, we're going to push down through our outer right hip. If it tends to pop out to the side, hug it in. Let your left foot float up. Always okay to have a chair or a wall nearby. Pushing down through that outer right hip. Micro swing back. Small is good. Because we only have a small range of motion in the hip to begin with. It's even less because of modern cultural habits, but we're just swinging back enough that the front of the hip slightly opens and we get a slight engagement in the buttocks. If you start swinging your foot back further, it might be easier but then you start using your lower back muscles, which is not the musculature we want to use to walk, but because so many people are missing the smaller range of motion, they tend to go to that bigger range of motion. So we're just doing smaller range of motion. Or because they're missing that range of motion completely, their body automatically goes to those other muscles. All right, next time you swing back, tuck the top of the foot behind you. And actually, let's go just close up, just your toes. Try to just tuck your toes under at first. Try to relax as much as you can. If you find it's really hard to relax your foot, put a pillow or a towel under there, and then see if you can stretch back a little further and get more above your toes. And if not, just keep working on it over time. Breathing. Oh, this feels good today. And bring your foot forward. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through your outer left hip, hug it in if it tends to pop out. Keep pushing down as you flex your right ankle and micro swing backs. And when you swing back, try to make sure the pelvis isn't turning, so it's just pelvis rotated forward, micro swing back. Breathing. Small is okay. You're reaching both legs straight. You're reaching down more through your standing leg. Foot is just hovering right above the ground. Notice if you're clenching your toes, tuck back, but just do the toes at first. Watch your ankle if it tends to roll to one side. If your foot cramps, come out, let it relax. And then how about trying to go back a little bit further so you get above your toes if possible. Keep working on your pelvic lifts, hips back over the heels. I'm just noticing a little bit of wobbling in this ankle. That's a good indication that more ball rolling under the foot, more working the feet muscles, more stretching the calf muscles is what you will want to do to counteract that. All right, and bring that foot back. Speaking of calf stretch, grab whatever you're gonna use, a rolled up towel, a dome. I'm gonna use a thin block on the lowest height. And then putting the ball of your right foot up, your heel down, grab your strap. Actually, while you're setting up, you can throw it around your shoulders. Ball of the foot up, heel down. Keep your weight back in your heels. Push down through that outer hip. And you might go from back here to up a little. That might be your smooth step. Over time, as you gain more range of motion, you'll push down and you'll step forward a little bit and back a little. But try to make the motion somewhat smooth. And if you can, pelvic list enough, that's pushing down through that standing leg hip, that you can swing the leg through without bending the knee much. Notice if to bring the leg through, you bend the knee. We're trying to use our hips more and our knee less. Bigger muscles, we want them to be more active. It's tricky to try to keep the leg straight and go back and forth. And then find an angle where you feel comfortable with that foot. Grab your strap, hold onto it behind your back. Strap taut between your hands, hands right outside your hips, thumbs sticking out so palms face forward, and keep a little bend in your elbows. Hinge forward, back your hips up, elbows in, lift the arms any amount off your back. Notice if the hands rotate, try to turn the palms to the floor. Breathing. Great time to practice relaxing your kneecaps, maybe rotating your thigh bones into neutral. And then slowly come up and switch feet. So I'll do this way. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. The heel of the calf stretch leg stays on the ground the whole time. So if you're stepping and the heel's coming off, that defeats the purpose. It's also going to be a lot harder to balance. Back your weight up, push down. Again, at first you might be here to here. That's okay. You've got to slowly get those muscle fibers to lengthen. Over time, you'll be able to step through with a little bit more ease, where you don't feel like you're losing your balance or leaning forward. Watch that hip twist here. You can put your hands on your hips. So if you step forward, you're bypassing some of the muscles if you turn your hips for your foot to get forward. That's using your spine to get your foot farther forward. So try to keep your hips square as you step that foot through and back. All right, find an angle that works for you. Hold on to the strap behind your back, palms face forward, strap taut between your hands, hips by your side. Push your hips back. Relax your belly, tailbone goes up, your shoulders are not dropping below your hips, and then maybe lift the strap any amount off your back. Breathing. All right, and then slowly come up, and you can move that block to the side. Actually, you might want it for the top of the mat when we start. So have it with you, and feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, hips back over the heels. You're gonna push down through one leg and curl your heel in towards your buttocks. Every time land with feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, push down, hug the other hip in, curl it. At first, these might go a lot faster because you're trying to stabilize yourself and you don't have as much balance. But over time, if you can keep your weight back in your heels, your feet stay straight, try to go a little bit slower. So first you get the balance, and then next you work on endurance. Feet straight, ankles hip distance, sit back into a chair pose, bring your hands down to the block, keep your right foot forward, step your left leg way back. So the block is great because if you bring your hands to the floor, a lot of us, our spine rounds or drops a lot lower than our hips, so we can help our spine create more length. Maybe our hips drop down a little lower in time, but that's not the goal. You actually want your hip to be in line with your bent right knee. Push back through that heel, maybe tuck your toes under a little bit more. Breathing here. and then walk yourself halfway around to the left and parallel your feet. Move your weight back into your heels. Push down through the backs of your legs into your heels. Interlace your right pinky finger on the bottom. Press away low. Spread your thumbs away without turning the torso. Go to the right, the left, to center, a little higher. Right to left, to center, a little higher. Right to left, to center, a little higher. Right to left, to center. And then from there, release your fingers, open your arms out. Hinge forward from your hips, pushing your hips back, backing your weight up, back over your heels. Take a pause there. And then keep your weight back over your heels as you push down to come up. Reach your arms out to the side. Sit back into a wide squat, sliding the hips back. And cross your right arm on top every time. Hands low, right arm on top. Open up, hands a little higher. Right arm on top. And open, arms a little higher. Right arm on top. And open, arms a little higher. Right arm on top and open. Rotate from the pelvis, fold down towards the legs, walk back around to your right foot at the front of the mat. You're in a high lunge, spin your back foot flat, but you want each foot in its own lane. So a lot of times when people spin their back foot flat, it ends up in line with their right foot. Step it out so it's in line with your left foot. For a warrior one stance, you can even measure the outside of your right foot to make sure it's straight. Come on up into a warrior one. Rotate your hands to face behind you. Press long through that back leg. Sweep your arms back, palms face forward. Without lifting the ribs, arms go into the air. Sweep back and lift up. Two more like that. Sweep back and lift up and sweep back and lift up. Now next time you sweep back, interlace your hands, right pinky finger on the back, bend into your knee, press long through that back leg, hinge forward any amount. If that right hip pops out to the side, hug it in. Ribs curl up. Maybe the hands lift off the back, breathing here, bending into the front knee, press long through the front leg. Slowly come back up. From here, spin onto your back knee. You can lower your knee to the ground or you can lower down a little bit and press up a little. Lower down, stay on the center of the ball of the foot, press up a little. The whole time the pelvis stays in neutral. Lower down a little, press up a little, lower down a little, and then keep going all the way down to the mat. Slide your hip back, slide your right leg back to meet your left knee. Palms down, elbow pits wrap forward, belly relaxed, top of the rhomboid push-up. Lift through the left rib cage, arm comes up, check your right elbow pit. Lift from the right hip, knee comes up, and then keep that lift as you extend your arm and your leg long, reaching through, breathing. Lower the hand, lower the knee. Knees hip distance, hands a little wider, wrapping the elbow pits forward. Lift from the right rib cage, right hand comes up. Keep working on that left elbow pit. Lift from the left lower belly and extend long. And breathing. Lower that hand, lower that knee. All right, from here, step your right leg out to the right. Left hand comes down to the floor of the block, elbow pit wrapping forward. You're drawing a line with all of your limbs. And then from here, the leg goes into the air. Breathing. Bend and straighten. Bend, heel towards the buttocks, and straighten. Two more. Bend, and straighten, bend, and straighten. Slowly lower the leg. Use the momentum from the upper body to come up a little bit. Slide that right leg in, slide that left leg out, toes point forward the whole time. Hand comes down to a floor of the block. Wrap the elbow pit towards the fingers. Pubic bone forward, ribs back up, lift the leg into the air, breathing, lengthening long, and bend, and straighten. Bend and straighten. 2 more. Bend and straighten and bend and straighten. And then put that foot down, pull your torso up. From there, bring that knee in, step your right leg back up to the top of the mat, tuck your back toes under, and push down to step up. And we start side 2. You might want to block. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. All right, push down through your outer left hip. Barely bend your right foot up off the floor. Let's try to do those angles. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Lower the foot down. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Push down through your opposite hip. Hip back over the heel. Hug the hip in. A little bit up. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Lower the foot down, sit back into a chair pose, feet straight, ankles hip distance, left foot stays forward, right leg steps back, find the block of the height of the block that works well for you. Really tuck under those toes or the ball of the foot, lengthen through that leg, breathing. But even here, belly relaxes, tailbone goes up, little lift of the ribs, a little ramp of the head. And then walk halfway around to the right. Parallel your feet, put your weight back in your heels, push down through the backs of the legs to come up. Interlace your left pinky finger on the bottom, press away, hands low, a little to the left, a little to the right, back to center, a little higher, to the left, to the right, to center, a little higher, to the left, to the right, to center, a little higher, to the left, to the right, to center, and release your hands open. Rotate from the pelvis, push your hips back. You're just going halfway, maybe a little bit more. Press down through the balls of the feet, but relax your toes. And slowly come up, open your arms low, sit back into a wide squat, really push the hips back, inner thighs open, left arm on top, open, a little higher, left arm on top, and open, a little higher, left arm on top, and open, a little higher, left arm on top, and open. From there, rotate from the pelvis, pushing your hips back, walk back around to your left foot at the front of the mat. You're spinning your right foot flat, but each foot is in its own lane. Push long through the back leg, edge of the left foot is straight. As you come up into your warrior 1, rotate palms and elbow pits forward, and the arms sweep up, and pull straight back, and sweep up, and pull straight back. Keep lengthening the back leg. Arms sweep up without the ribs lifting and pull back. Arms sweep up and pull back. Interlace left pinky finger on the back. You can keep your hands on the back the whole time. You can stay upright and just reach your knuckles to the floor. You can bend in, keep stretching that front leg, that back leg, bending the front knee. From here, maybe a little bend in the elbows. Maybe they lift off the back. Breathing. All right, bring your torso up, spin onto the ball of your back foot, try to center. You can lower your knee down and just take a lunge, or we'll go up and down a little, pelvis in neutral. Pubic bone leads the way. And slowly lower your knee down to the floor. Step your left knee back to meet your right. Palms down. Elbow pits wrap, top of the rhomboid push-up, belly relaxes, tailbone in the air. Lift through the right rib cage and the left hip. Extend, watch that other elbow pit. Reach your arm back, bend your knee. Maybe stay there, maybe reach for the ankle. Keep breathing. Re-extend, lower the hand, lower the knee. Elbow pits wrap forward, use the whole palm. Then from there, lift from your left rib cage, your right hip. Get the lift of your core first, then extend. Reach your hand back. Bend your knee, check on that bottom elbow pit. Reach back maybe. Breathing. Re-extend the arm and the leg. Lower the hand down. Lower the knee down. Come on up. Sideways, left leg extends out. One arm work. Hand comes down to floor of the block. Elbow pit, hand, knee, and foot in line. And lift the leg up. Bend the knee and hold, or reach back for the ankle. Watch that you're not thrusting the ribs forward to get your hand back to your ankle. And breathing. Ooh, look how much my elbow pit was rotating. And extend. And pull yourself up. Slide that left leg in. Extend the right leg out. Hand comes down. Elbow pit rotates. Leg lifts up. Bend the knee. You can either stay here or reach for the ankle. Ribs back up. Ears slide back. Check on the elbow pit again. Re-extend the arm and the leg. Pull your torso up. Bend your knee. From here, let's go ahead and sit back on our toes. Drop your chin to your chest. If it's not comfortable to sit back, just stand up with your toes tucked under on your knees. Let your shoulder blades be wide. Roll your chin a little side to side. All right, find something to sit on. I'm going to sit on a block with a rolled up towel on top. If you know your pelvis really rolls back because of the tension in the back chain of your body, you sit in your back here, maybe even more so. Maybe you're even straight, but you haven't found that curve to your lower back yet, and you still sink back so it looks like you're straight, but there's no curvature. Get your hips up higher so you can sit more with a neutral pelvis, getting that natural curve without the ribs coming forward. So have a seat. Cross your right arm or right leg in front. Arms open, pelvis upright, ribs relax down. If you're having a tough time sitting on the floor, a low stool will help. But the main thing is practice more often when you're in a regular chair. That's what's going to really start to change your body, because a stretch once a day if you're doing a class or once a week if you're doing a class isn't going to be enough. You have to start to change those patterns, backing your hips up over your heels, tilting your pelvis into neutral. All right, from here, right ear to right shoulder. Left hand comes out low, across, and in front. Remember, the focus is kind of the neck, so keep dropping the ear over. Arm a little higher. You're just feeling the connection and maybe the tension bound up from the fingers to the neck. Arm a little higher. Well, you'll definitely feel some tension. Tension is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. If we didn't have tension, we wouldn't be able to move around. It's just excessive tension that we're working for and looking for. All right, next time your arm is out to the side, draw a little circle or a little figure 8. Pause and go in the other direction. Nice and gently. All right, bring your head up and your arm in nice and slowly. Switch the crossing of your legs. Thighs open, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, left ear to left shoulder. Check a few things. Is your ear really going to your shoulder? Or when you lean over, does your head go like this? Or lean back? Try to find where your center, and then from there you can create variety, but you want to see that you can actually get to center first instead of your head always turning. Palm up low and across and out a little higher. A little higher. A little higher. And little circle or figure 8. Switch the direction. If you smile, it gives a different stretch to your neck and throat as well. And then bring your head up and your arm in. All right, from here, soles of the feet together, knees open, rotate from the pelvis first, hinge forward any amount. How about a rib breath here into the sides and the back of the ribs? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Slowly come up, lay on the side of your body. You might want your strap for this. Gonna wrap the strap around the top ankle. Come on down. I would come all the way down. You can lay your head on your arm, one straight line. Maybe your bottom leg is forward a little bit. Pull the knee back gently. Knee in line with the hip. Watch if it's lower or up in the air. Try to line it up as much in line with the hip. It's hard for me to see if mine's actually in line with the hip. So if it's not, I'm just like you, doing the best I can. All right, either roll over to the other side or just spin around like I do. And wrapping your strap around your ankle. Bottom leg can come forward a little bit for balance. Hips squared, stacked on top of each other. And breathing. If there's any pressure in the knee, don't pull the foot in so close. So remember, all the time you can work these different ranges of motion. We probably come to class most often in this one, but work the different ranges of motion. Don't chase sensation. Work on alignment instead. Work on different ranges of motion. All right, from there, release, and then you can come onto your back, have your strap nearby. If you'd like something for under your head, feel free to put something underneath your head. If you tend to thrust your ribs, bring the soles of your feet together, your knees open out to the side. Take a breath there, or 2 or 3. Lift your knees up nice and slowly, ankles hip distance apart. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, wrap the strap around the back of your right thigh, and hang out there, flexing your ankles, centering your spine, tailbone tilting down as thigh bones come in. Again, every time we do this stretch, you could slightly change the angle of your leg, because most of the time we'll probably just come into with the ankle over the knee, because we don't always have time to do all the variations. But you can, especially if you're practicing regularly and taking other classes, you can vary your angles. Great idea. Great practice. And switch. Great idea for your body, is what I meant to say. Over time, can your thighs move a little bit more and your spine stay still? And sometimes you can tuck your pelvis even more. You don't even realize it. You might not be able to bring your thighs in so close. All right, let's go to the sole of the right foot, below the toes. Pull back, stretch your left leg long, bring the leg low enough that the back of the left thigh comes down to the floor. Untwist your ankle. Any height that works for you. And switch legs. Back of the thigh comes down. Neutral pelvis, most important when you're stretching the thighs, the legs, the hips. Neutral rib cage, most important when you're stretching the upper body, moving the upper body. And release the strap and draw both knees in, a little hug if you want to rock a little side to side or do a circle. I feel that I just want to stay still today. It feels nice. And then when you're ready, extend your legs long. Let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close. Become very present with your body and with your breath. Your final pose, Savasana. Stay present with your body and with your breath. Stay present with your body and with your breath. Stay present with your body and your breath. Sometimes you spend time waiting for the ideal path to appear, but it never does, because paths are made by walking, not waiting. Don't let not knowing how it will end keep you from beginning today. Uncertainty chases us out into the open where life's true magic is waiting. Allow yourself to be a beginner. No one starts off being wise. Do the best you can until you know better. Once you know better, do better. As you struggle today, remember it's far better to be exhausted from lots of effort and learning than to be tired of doing absolutely nothing. What might seem like a setback is often an opportunity for you to learn something new and develop a more effective, more realistic strategy. The truth is, you need to spend some time crawling through the dark to fully appreciate what it is to stand in the sunlight. Your track record for getting through tough days is 100% so far. Allow your awareness to come to your breath, maybe moving through your arms and your legs, through your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, roll over to one side and pause on your side and just be with your breath, be with your body, just one more moment. Full awareness, full attention, without judgment on you. And with a softness and ease, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. I'm stacked up. You can always be stacked up on something. Sit any way you'd like. Bring your hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste.